Watching this video is how you're going to get skinny again. Every tip, diet, everything online, basically it just tries to answer the same three problems. How can you keep your diet, what to eat, and how to keep on exercising? But I'm not going to tell you any of those things because you already know what to do. Eat healthy and exercise, and that's the core of it. But I'm going to answer those main three questions and some tips. But just how before you take a class, you need to understand the concepts. Before you take the class of losing weight, you need to understand the concepts. The first concept that I want you to understand is that no cookbook works to lose weight, because my favorite foods aren't your favorite foods. So if I make a book of my favorite recipes, it's not going to be the same for you, and you're not going to follow the diet. So you can't get a cookbook. Secondly, I want you to understand the minimum effective dose. If you boil water at 212 degrees, it's going to boil. If you boil water at 1,000 degrees, it's going to boil. Both will do the same thing. It's just one took more energy than the other. So doing things like running 10 miles a day to stimulate leg growth or to stimulate cardiovascular growth is excessive and will lead to no further results than just simply doing far less. As an action step, I want you to go weigh yourself right now and do it every single day until you're at your desired weight. Because the thing is, trying to lose weight without monitoring yourself constantly is like trying to run a mile without knowing when it starts or ends. You're not going to know, so why would you even try in the first place? This video isn't for testosterone or estrogen or any of those other hormones. It's simply to lose weight. But in turn, by losing excess fat, it will probably regulate your hormones for the better, especially if you're a teenager. You may be wondering, like you're sitting there and you don't want to eat the cake, but you end up eating it. You don't want to skip the workout, but you end up skipping the workout, or any other thing. And the reason why is because of bad mental health. The truth is that every single bad addiction that you have isn't actually the cause. It's just a symptom of the core, which is bad mental health, specifically bad presence. Because if we got two people side by side and we told them, here's a piece of cake, eat it, but both of them weren't supposed to, and one meditated for like 6 months and the other didn't, the one who meditated, he'd be able to sit there for a second and think, you know what? I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to do it. Because he has higher presence. He can stay in the present moment without being flooded by the dopamine of the cake, whilst the other person couldn't. So by increasing your mental health, it'll just naturally make it so that you lose weight, because you'll be able to get all of these dumb little stupid Doritos and like the school lunch and stuff, and you'll be able to not eat it because you know it's not good for you. So while the other stuff in this video is going to be really nice, the core thing is simply going to be just increasing your presence and your mental health. And the best way you can do that temporarily is just simply, I want you to take a deep breath with me. And then right as your lungs are completely full with air, then I want you to take a little at the end. So like, we'll do it together. Those things are called cyclic breaths, and they have more effect on your presence than 10 minutes of meditation. Of course, over the long term, it doesn't, but things in the short term, it does. So it's extremely important that before you eat a piece of junk food, or before you fall back into a habit, take like 10 of those breaths so that you can re-unlock your presence. Now we're going to get into like the tips and tricks and stuff, the one that you really came here for before I started yapping about mental health, which you thought wasn't even related, but it turns out it is. So as another actionable step, I want you to take 10 deep breaths before you even continue the video. The first habit is going to be including a slow carb diet. So an example of a slow carb would be potato. Because the thing is, fruits and vegetables and carbs in general, they have something called a glycemic index. And what this means is how fast can your body absorb the carbohydrates coming from the ingredient or material. So potatoes have a really low glycemic index. So it means it'll take hours before it gets absorbed. And the benefit of this is that it keeps you satiated for longer. So if I told you you have to eat 200 grams of baked potatoes, then it would take you so much longer and you might not even be able to finish it versus eating like 200 grams of ice cream, because the ice cream gets absorbed super fast and you don't even feel it. Before, I thought that a cheat day wasn't actually good for you because, it's being lazy, and why not just have a fully fleshed out like routine where you never have cheat days. But the thing is, having a cheat day is actually very good for you, because as you have a calorie deficit, over time, your body adjusts to the lowered calorie intake. And what it does is that it reduces the amount of calories that you burn in NEAT calories. What NEAT calories are, basically non-intentional activity. So like an example of your body lowering the natural NEAT cavities would be like, if normally when you're standing up, you like are standing like this with like straight back and all that stuff, with lower NEAT calories, it'd be like this. Or if you're doing a push-up on the ground, instead of doing with the full range of motion, then you'd kind of like do it slowly or do the Adam Ross push-ups, or simply just lowering your metabolism, which you can't even control. So the way that you counteract this lowering of your metabolism and making it so you have to keep on cutting lower and lower at a race to the bottom is by simply having 1 day per week where you like go way above your calorie maintenance. So what this could be like is if you want to lose 1 pound a week and your maintenance is like 2,000 calories, then it'd mean that you eat like 1,500 calories a day, every single day. And then on Sunday, you just eat like 3,000 calories or something crazy. And if you don't want to like mess up your testosterone because of like things inside the foods, then you can just simply eat a bunch of like dates or butter or oil, because those things are very calorie dense. There's a thing called a thermogenic food, which is extremely important for weight loss because it increases your metabolism and keeps that NEAT calorie up. So an example of a thermogenic food would be a hot pepper or something, because what it does is it spikes your metabolism temporarily. Or it could be caffeine, or it could be like cinnamon or ginger shots. These things, they spike your metabolism, and if you have them regularly, you can make it so that your calorie maintenance is, instead of like 3,000 calories, it would be 3,500. So if you had a calorie deficit of 500 before, so you were at 2,500, now you're at a deficit of 1,000, which means you'll lose weight even faster. When working out, you try to find the minimum effective dose, which means, again, trying to boil at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit, not trying to go way above. And I'm going to have some workouts later which can help you. In fact, I'm going to give you a little bit of a workout split. Cold exposure is simply a great way to increase your metabolism. If you want to know what cold exposure is, it's getting really freaking cold. Sleep is important because it's the only time where your muscles can grow, and it's the only time where fat can be taken care of. And if you sleep more, you lower the risk of Alzheimer's and all that extra stuff. But sleep 8 hours a night and be in bed for like 8.5 if you have bad sleep, or maybe even 10. And the best diet that I found is intermittent fasting, especially for men, because let's say you have a job, right? What you do is you just simply eat once you've completed your most important work. So once you've completed your workout, and then like once you went to your job, then you come back and you eat all the food. So like it'd be like one big meal around 5 to 6 p.m. And that's all you need for the rest of the day. Now, I don't follow this religiously. Sometimes I have a meal in the beginning of the day, but definitely try to get this done, and I probably follow it like 90% of the time. When you're working out, follow something called Occam's protocol. So the base of each workout should be around 3 to 4 compound lifts, maybe 2. So for push day, it'd be bench press, overhead press, dips. For pull day, it'd be pull-ups, bicep curls, deadlifts, and barbell rows. And then for leg day, it'd be squats, hip thrusts, maybe deadlifts, and then lunges. If you just do those, you're good. But one of the best workouts that you can do for a myriad of benefits is the kettlebell swing. Even though it kind of looks weird, it has a bunch of benefits when it comes to your like health and prosperity, your metabolism. Weird enough. But the book recommends that I was reading around 225 kettlebell swings a week. So that could be like 75 times in a couple of days per week. For cardio, a lot of people like to do the stupid thing where they run mid-intensity for a long time. So if your peak mile is 5 minutes and your really easy mile is 9 minutes, then you like running at 7 minutes. Even if you like doing the 7-minute mile kind of thing, you should still run at a 9-minute mile if you think it's easy. Because if you try going at a 7-minute mile, what it does is that it trains your anaerobic system at the same time, which should be good, but it's bad. Because the thing is, the aerobic system is used for long distance easy intensity exercises like walking, very light jogging. And then the anaerobic system is used for very short movements. Like, for example, doing a weightlifting set at the gym of like 225 for 5, or running in a 400-meter. The reason why your body has an anaerobic system is because it can be used instantly because it doesn't need oxygen. I'm not going to go into the details, but basically, anaerobics for short term, aerobics for long term. If you want to train both, you're going to end up training none of them effectively. So just make your easy runs easy and your hard runs hard.